All right, Jason Tripp with Adam Kline, and it's a Monday. Usually Sunday we do some theology. Today we're doing some Oscarology. My fellow cinephile and Oscarologist. It is Oscar season. We're full swing award season, and so we thought we would just take a few minutes to make our almost final predictions, I guess. There's 2 weeks, but I think we have a pretty good beat on the front runners. I think you've just said you've watched all the Best Picture nominees, as have I.
Yep.
So maybe down the road we'll list our top 19 of 19 or something, or top 10 certainly. But today we're just going to go through some of the major categories. We've got our ballots in front of us. So why don't we just dive right into the deep end of the pool, and let's just talk about Best Picture. So there are 9 nominees this year. Shameless plug, I got all 9 of my predictions. To be honest, this is tough. So I'm going to defer to you, Adam. What are you thinking for Best Picture? Let me just go through the nominees. So we got 1917, Ford versus Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and last but not least, there it is, Parasite. So what are you thinking? This is, I want to hear your pick and your lot, because this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm going to defer to you. What are you thinking at this point?
Hey man, you have just as much expertise. And actually, I think the last couple of years we both had some. Well, we weren't in our own competition, but I think we both were entered into some contests to win prizes. And I think the last 2 years you definitely beat me in terms of predicting. So you definitely know what you're talking about. And of course, Best Picture is always I don't know. I feel like typically it is the hardest one to predict, and I feel like in this case for this year, it's no different in the sense that when you look at the films that critics are awarding and have been giving praise for, and the biggest predictor of these things is in the weeks leading up to the Oscars are all the guilds: the Screen Actors Guild, the Producers Guild, the Directors Guild. The Academy has over 7,000 voting members, and those guilds have the largest number of overlap with Academy voters and their union voters. And those awards, I think they're all done now, and so we can get some real sense of predicting from that. But there's always the unknown with the Oscars, especially when it comes to the idea of splitting the vote. Some years you have a clear front runner, like one that has the most nominations, probably going to get the most wins. But then you've got that dark horse, that unexpected, or you've got sort of sometimes, and this year's is no exception, you've kind of got a more traditional film that may not be everyone's favorite, may not be getting a lot of critics awards, but because it's a little more traditional Hollywood, it kind of plays safely down the middle, splits the vote, and gets just enough to get this. And one example a few years ago with the fun and the controversy of La La Land, massive amount of nominations, quite a few wins, but the big surprise was it didn't get Best Picture. So Best Picture is always the one that's really kind of up in the air. You never quite know. And of course, the big thing with this category is that but this weekend or last night, whatever it was the Producers Guild, and that and you sent me the text that they awarded 1917 Best Picture. That says a lot about where the Academy could go with Best Picture.
Because doesn't the PGA predict like 70% of the last 20 odd years whoever's won the PGA has won the Best Picture. So that gives 1917 some momentum for sure.
Yeah.
And last night, Parrot gets the big cast ensemble, the SAG Awards. So, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood still in the mix. So it's a 3-horse race. Is it a 3-horse race with some dark horses, or?
Well, so what would be the third for you? Those 3?
Well, when the nomination first came out, I was like, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was the clear-cut front mind.
Right.
But after PGA, I'm thinking, man, those 2 are right there, if maybe not surpassing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I'm thinking those 3 are ahead of the rest.
Parasite. Parasite for Best Picture. And for the people that don't know, the only reason that most people would not select it is because it's the international, formerly the foreign category. And so typically in a year like this, and I think this was last year with Roma, where you really kind of have a favored best picture, but it's a foreign language film, it's usually the case that it gets awarded the international feature Oscar and then others like a director and whatever, but then that makes room for someone else to get the best picture, and and I don't know. I mean, that would be really exciting to see Parasite upend, kind of set a milestone and do that never before. But I don't know that that would be the case for this year for Best Picture. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that would definitely be a favored one, as you said. 1917, sort of that traditional middle of the lane thing. I mean, a month ago, I really thought Irishman was going to capture a lot of attention, but it really just hasn't been winning awards.
I could see it going to 10 nominations. I can see it not winning this ballot. I'm like, it might get shut out.
Yeah, absolutely, which is sad. But I just looking at statistics only, not preferences. I think that's very valid. So I don't know. It's really what do you have one? Do you think it's Parasite? Do you think it could set history this year?
I think it's better than Roma.
Yeah,
Maybe
more.
but I think,
There's a lot more love for it this year for sure.
I mean, last night to see like watching the Sega Awards last night, multiple stations. So
Yep.
it's getting the love from the screen actors, but again, that's percent of the 7,000 voters, right?
Yeah.
But I look at 1917, I'm like, yeah, a lot of love for it, but both of us, movie, but technically outstanding, but it's
Yeah.
lacking maybe a little bit in the plot and the characterization. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, getting a lot of love. I mean, Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood typically, but again, a bit controversial. Portrayal of women in the film, the Asian community, the whole Bruce Lee controversy. I don't know how much that'll play in.
Right.
Tarantino is a bit of a polarizing figure, so I don't know. We're talking it, but what are you thinking? Make a pick. Where are you throwing in the ring?
Yeah, I almost don't want to make a pick. Because in some way I'd be so disappointed with a few of these. Oh man, I'm just looking them over again. I, if I'm backed into the problem for me, it's hard for me just because I just so don't want it to be 1917 and where previously Irishman or Once Upon a Time were favored, but maybe less favored now. I mean, I guess I really would have to predict Parasite just kind of for the fun of it, because who knows what's going to happen with Best Picture.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident when the nominations first came out. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood will win Best Picture. Bong Joon-ho will win Director.
Yep.
I think it'll be. Now 1917's in the mix. I'm thinking, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood seems to be cooling off slightly.
Yeah.
You know what? Screw it. I think this is going to be history in the making.
It'd be awesome.
I think Parasite is this year's Moonlight. I think it's getting love. That's why it's going to be number 2 and number 3 on a lot of ballots, if not number 1. I can't see it being bottom. I can see both 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood maybe dipping to 4, 5, or 6 on some people's ballots. I think Parasite's going to do it. I do.
That would be cool to see.
Yeah. So I'll play Parasite.
Okay.
That's what I want. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me if one of those other two won. Now, outside of those 3, is there one you think can shock? If you're going to pick a person outside of those 3, which one would you pick?
For myself?
For Best Picture. If not one of them ends up, shockingly, what do you think has the 4th best chance? Assuming we're agreeing on those top 3.
Okay. I probably would still put Irishman in there. As for again, I see Joker and it got so many nominations, and I was really, I don't know, baffled by how many nominations it got. And again, I put it in the same level. I can't imagine Joker or 1917 winning Best Picture, and I really don't want them to. But I probably would slap Irishman as the 4th contender. But
all right, here's my list. If there's a dark horse that's going to shock, it's comparable a little bit to Green Book last year, Jojo Rabbit.
You think so?
I think there's a one dark horse that could shock what happened, but I saw it again for the second time last night, and really enjoyed it.
Cool.
We'll see. Okay, we're both tentatively Parasite. Let's move on to Best Director. Now, do you
I think a lot of these. I think a lot of these other categories are going to be. I think you and I will be able to breeze through these because I think there are some very obvious favored selecting. Again, considering the guilds and the other awards so far the last few weeks. So director to me is a lock for Bong Joon-ho. I think it's going to be given to him definitely.
See, because I'm going with Parasite with Best Picture, I'm going to go with Mendes for director.
Really?
I think it'll be a split.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope it's Bong Joon-ho, but originally I was thinking Parasite won't win Best Picture, but they'll give it to Best Director. I'm going to switch. I'm going to go with Mendes. I think 1917 will get honored more for the director.
The technical achievements, yeah. And I should. And the other thing though too about some of these categories, especially when it comes to director and acting, is that some of the things that people don't always think about is that there's the popular influence, the political influence in terms of playing the field, but really sometimes these awards are partially also legacy, right? In terms of who has not been awarded previously but has a great career and a great legacy as an artist.
Tarantino's still got
and right, so that always has a big factor in this, and that's where Mendes has won it in the past. But Bong Joon-ho and this really being an international film is getting a lot of praise and attention. But I think that whole legacy thing is really going to, in my opinion, simplify all the acting categories.
Yeah, I think we're going to have acting categories. I'm assuming we're going to agree on all these. But let's jump into Best Actor. Are we in agreement? I think Phoenix.
Yeah.
He's been swooping everything.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I loved Adam Driver's performance, Caprio's great. I haven't seen Pain and Glory yet. I need to. I hear.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen Pain and Glory. I haven't seen Antonio Banderas' his performance. And my preference, I would love to see Adam Driver be awarded.
I'm surprised to see Jonathan Pryce in there.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see maybe like Adam or Eddie Murphy get that one, but yeah, I think it's Phoenix's to lose. I think he'll win it.
Yeah.
I think the performance of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, Joker's not in my top 10, but that performance was outstanding.
Absolutely.
Okay, Best Actress. Again, same idea. Average movie, great performance.
Yeah.
Zellweger.
Yeah, I just watched that over the weekend as well, and it's sort of disappointing how I don't know, drawn out or just how not engaging the story is itself. But that's definitely the kind of performance like Joaquin in Joker. Those are the kind of performances the Academy is drawn to, and it's a sort of interesting, nice, awkward story with Renée Zellweger kind of being out of the motion picture business for like 6 to 7 years. And this is sort of like a return for her, and being honored that way. So, but yeah, I think it's hers to lose. So,
agreed. Let's go on to supporting actor. So Tom Hanks, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins, The Two Popes, Al Pacino, The Irishman, Joe Pesci from The Irishman, and Brad Pitt, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What are you thinking?
It's Captain Handsome. It's Brad Pitt's to lose. He's getting all the awards, and of course, for you and I, we're going to secretly imagine that he's being awarded for Ad Astra, because we both adore that film, and he is incredible in Ad Astra. My favorite performance of his of all time is Moneyball, and Ad Astra evoked a lot of the similar emotions and quiet stillness. But he's getting the attention, and he's never won an Oscar. He's been nominated before, and that's the thing. That's the legacy thing. Like, he's never won one before. And this kind of is the year where the field's open enough and people want to award him for more than just a single performance, but for the span of his career.
That being said, I think still is worthy for this performance given the competition.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, Ad Astra was wonderful. Now also, I mean, he got an award for his production company Plan B, which produced another one of our favorite movies, Last Black Man in San Francisco this year. It's been a good year for Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And I will go on record saying, I like Moneyball not quite as much as you. I think Ad Astra is Brad Pitt's performance ever in my mind.
Yeah.
Just the quiet, contemplative, just not only what the dialogue, but anyway, that's a conversation. We'll get to our top 10 list for the year, but I agree. And if you haven't seen his acceptance last night, the SAG Awards,
I saw that. Yeah,
do that up. It was great.
it's fantastic.
It was really good. Okay, so we got Brad Pitt taking supporting actor, best supporting actress. Maybe one of the biggest surprise nominations. First name out of the mouth of those announcing the nominees, Kathy Bates, which I was happy to see. I loved her. And Richard Jewell. Got Laura Dern in Marriage Story, Hanson, Jojo Rabbit, double nominee for Scarlett. Florence Pugh with Love in Little Women, and Bill Roby in Bombshell. Man, this is a loaded field.
Yeah.
But again, it's been a clear front runner throughout the whole season, right, Laura Dern?
Yep.
I think it's hers to lose. And I think, again, lifetime achievement.
Yeah.
Great performance in this film. But the body of work.
Which, again, for me, she was better, more notable in Little Women this year, which is my favorite film of the year. And I would love to see Florence Pugh to be recognized. But for whatever reason, she got all the attention for Marriage Story's performance. And again, yeah, like you said, it's kind of a lifetime recognition as well for everything she's ever done. So
yeah, all four of these, they've been cleaning up consistently throughout the award season. I don't see it going otherwise. Okay, let's talk about best animated feature. There's been some amazing animated movies this year.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the ones on the list? How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
I have not watched Claws.
Like Toy Story 4.
Yeah, so Claws is the one I have yet to watch, and that was the one that I was really.
Frozen 2 is the one I haven't watched. Oh wait, it didn't get nominated.
Which one?
Frozen 2 is the one I haven't seen, but it's not on there.
Well, that was one of the few big surprises, right? With the nominations, that Frozen 2 didn't appear on there, and I absolutely adore Frozen 2. But I also love any category like this where there's some real diversification. And this year, that's definitely the case. And I feel like animation the last several years has really been building a more global, more diverse body of recognition, which has been wonderful to see. I didn't see Claws yet. That was a Netflix Christmas movie that I did hear a lot of great things about. I just didn't make it a priority, but was delighted to see it there. And Missing Link from the Leica studio. I absolutely adore everything by Leica. Paranorma, Coraline, Kubo and the Two Strings, Boxtrol. I just love their work. And I mean, they surprised everyone by taking the Golden Globe, but the Golden Globe really has no influence on the Academy. And one of my, I think it's going to be number 3 for me. I Lost My Body is an incredible achievement as a story, but as an animated feature, it's an incredible achievement on Netflix. I Lost My Body. I love that film. I mean,
my favorite animated film of the year as well.
Yeah, but I mean, really, who's going to take it? I don't know. I really have no clue. I would love. You did last night Toy Story 4, or this weekend it won. Something like that.
I'm thinking Toy Story. I think again the legacy of those films. I think it'll win. I'd love to see I Lost My Body take it. If you had to ask me my prediction, I would say Toy Story 4.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think if they're going to take a chance and recognize, again, thinking of body work, I think Missing Link maybe does have a chance in the way that it surprised the Globes, where they would be the voting body would be recognizing the work of Leica Studio as a whole. So maybe that's my vote. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a hard one, but
on the record, Missing Link.
Yeah,
it'd be just watch it this weekend. Really enjoyed it.
Yep.
We went on a bit of a Leica binge this week. Watch Kubo again as well.
Nice.
My favorite still.
Absolutely.
From the Lakers. Okay. Well, here's a tough one. Best international film of the year. Parasite.
Moving on. I mean, that's right.
This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, Pain and Glory looks great. Yeah. I did just watch Honeyland, which I'm intrigued at because it's not only nominated for Best International Feature, but also Best Documentary.
Yeah.
It's won in both categories.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, but Parasite's on a whole other level in this category.
Right. Cool. Well, let's wrap it up with cinematography. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, let's do the screenplays. 2 screenplays and cinematography.
Oh, we totally skipped screenplays. Oh, I totally missed that. So
yeah, those are big ones too, right? So we got let's do adapt play first. So we got Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and Two Popes. The heavy category, man. All
Yeah.
5 are solid.
So here's a political influence with this category. I personally want Greta Gerwig to win for Little Women because it's an amazing film and it's an incredible adaptation. I think the stink that was raised over an all-male director category and that Greta Gerwig didn't get recognized with a nomination, I think that might help swing the vote with adapted screenplay to give it to her, which again, she deserves it for her whole body of work, but definitely Little Women, which is an incredible feature. So I'm going to go with Greta.
Yeah, see, when I predicted the nominees, Greta would get a director nomination. Thus, I predicted actually Jojo Rabbit would steal this one. Now that I see Greta didn't get nominated, I'm with you. I think Little Women wins adapted screenplay, sort of a consolation to her. And I think she is deserving. I think it's a wonderful adaptation.
Yep.
Okay. Original screenplay. So when I see Ryan Johnson nominated, out. Noah Baumbach, Sam Mendes for 1917, Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then Parasite. Oh, what are you thinking for original screenplay?
Well, again, I for legacy, for everything, I'd love someone like Noah Baumbach win. I'd love to see what's the first nominee?
Johnson.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson. That's just a personal thing. I just adore Ryan Johnson, but this is also his first nomination, and that's a big step for him, and that's awesome. But I think this is Tarantino's to lose because I do think, again, playing the field, I think Once Upon a Time will be less awarded in other categories, and therefore, I think Once Upon a Time is guaranteed production design and Brad Pitt's performance, and then this original screenplay. I think that's how it's going to go, but who knows?
Yeah, I agree. I will go with Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, we'll leave some of the minor categories today. Let's just talk about cinematography. Again, I think Roger freaking Deakins. What can you say about this guy? This is what, 15th nomination?
Yeah.
Liz lost 13 in a row. Won rightfully so for Blade Runner 2049. Phenomenal film. One of my best favorites of the decade. And now 1917.
Yep.
It's a guarantee. Is it his to lose? What are you thinking? He's going up against The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit. Oh, sorry. Wrong category. He's going up against, The Irishman, Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and The Lighthouse. Happy to see The Lighthouse below there.
Yeah, I still need to see Lighthouse, but I was just delighted to see Lighthouse get a nomination at least, get some recognition. So I'd be with you. I would predict Roger Deakins if he hadn't won a couple years ago for Blade Runner 2049, which was an incredible film, incredible work, but was also a legacy win. I would be delighted to see him win too, and maybe with the technical awards that 1917 probably will win, maybe this is one of them. But at the same time, as much as I didn't want Joker to get so many nominations, the two areas that Joker really does deserve recognition is music, which I think it really could take for score, and cinematography. It really was incredible achievements, and again, these are sort of next generation artists, and so I don't know. I think my vote would be Joker for cinematography, though certainly Deakins has some sway there.
Yeah, I'm going with Deakins. I'm not going to go against the grain. I think his fingerprints more than any others are all over the film.
Right.
So we will see.
Cool.
All right. So there are tentative Oscar predictions. It'll be interesting to see, particular Best Picture. And who knows, maybe there'll even be a shock in one of the acting categories. But a couple more weeks, February 9th tonight. Tune in then. And between now and then, maybe we'll get back on and we'll give our top 10 or 19 of 19 maybe, because it's been so weird. I'm trying to figure out my top 10. So I don't want to squeeze so many in. There's only so many spaces. So, all right, man.
All right, thanks.
Comments. What's the one thing that will make you very happy on Oscar night? What's the one thing that'll make you stand up and
Oscar night is my Super Bowl. Oscar night is just a delight and fun. So really, for me, I just love, even if it's a movie I don't care about, I just love surprises. I love the twists. I love the unexpected. I love the recognition given by peers. So in any one of these categories we've predicted, I think about a couple years ago, Black Panther making history as a superhero movie that got a lot of nominations, and it got almost all of the technical awards, right? So just the delight of that recognition was pretty cool. Um, and so again, for this year, whatever surprises, I just love the surprise. I love the unexpected, even if it's just one category where that's just great.
Tell you, this movie right here had the most unexpected twist of all movies, and I hope there's an unexpected ending when it walks away with Best Picture. So we will find out. All right, man.
All right, thanks.
Looking forward to it. Let's chat again before the Oscar night.
Sounds good.
Okay. Have a good one. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.